welcome back. Now, our next guest took the UK by storm 3 years ago as one of the new breed of female singer-songwriters with her self-titled debut album. She's since travelled the world and spent much of the last 12 months in the States and Japan, where she recently celebrated 2 consecutive top 10 hits. Her third album, Swept, has just been released, and she's currently touring the UK with American singer Michael Bolton. So let's welcome Julia Fordham.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hello.
You've been incredibly prolific. 3 albums in 4 years. How on earth have you found the time?
Well, I think it's something about the way I write. I think the record company are really happy that I don't ever need time to sort of sit down and write my songs. I'm always doing them as I do other things. So I'm going to grow wise. By the 4th album, I go, I must go to France for a month and you must give me time. Otherwise, you sort of like never stop, because I'm always like, I've done that one and I've got these new songs, let's go and do them. But I think that there's pros and cons, because I think you can get tired because you're always sort of perpetually on the go.
So is it a rumour? They said to me that on Swept, the new album, one of the tracks took 10 minutes to write.
Well, it did actually. I thought it was you, the first single from the album, but I think that was just being like a good fortune. I just like, the song just came very quickly, and I remember singing it to Grant, my producer, in the lift, and he went, that one's a hit. Of course, he was completely wrong, but, but as it transpired at the time, we were quite excited, and, you know, I think you are lucky sometimes that you get things very quickly, and others you have to kind of work at more, but that one was good.
We mentioned in introducing you that you're on tour with Michael Bolton. Now, that's not instantly a partnership that you would think of, because your singing styles are completely different. So how do your sets complement one another?
Well, it's probably better ask him that, and he's, of course, the big main daddy dude. I think it's I think that where he's kind of like, you know, they've flocked to see him, especially in Scandinavia, where we've opened up, and in other countries in Europe. But I think the thing about Michael Bolton is that he has this like unquestionably magnificent voice. You know, whether you sort of like go, well, I don't like the songs, I don't like him, whatever people say, you know, he has like no doubt about it, a wonderful singing voice. And I like to think that I can also sort of sing a bit, you know, so sort of paling into too much insignificance. And I think that's the angle. I mean, I know I do very different material, but I think that if people come along because they like a singer, I mean, I'm clearly not a rap act, am I, or like a dance number routine person, so I think that they know that they come, oh, you know, it's a singer, we're coming to see someone who writes songs and sings. So the response has been wonderful, and I'm really not known in some of the places we've been. And
it's fantastic. I mean, you say about your singing voice, you've been compared, and all the notes I was reading about you, compared your voice to Joni Mitchell's. How do you feel about that?
Well, I just think there's only one Joni Mitchell, and I think, again, it's like when you start out, obviously comparisons are going to be drawn, and I'm more likely to be likened to someone like Joni Mitchell than I am, say, Eddie Van Halen, you know, which I'm clearly not. But I think, you know, hopefully 3 albums in, I would have established myself as a singer, and I don't really see that thing in my voice. You know, I think she's a magnificent artist, and there's actually no one to touch her. But so I sort of try and look at it as a compliment, but actually I want to go, shut up, I am actually not like anybody, I'm like me. But
we're going to have a chance to hear you singing Like You a little bit later on. Julia, thanks very much.
Thank you.
I think it was 3 years ago, Julia Fordham, that you appeared on this show. Did you appear on Terry Wogan the night before, or was he the night after? Perilously
close. It's difficult to know who wins here in this. Where did I start my showbiz career?
Where did you start your
saga? But
yeah. Well, you were a very welcome guest. You're very welcome then, and you're a very welcome guest now. How do you, when you look back over the last 2 or 3 years, how do you think you've changed? Do you think you have changed?
Well, I've got a bit chubbier in places. My hair's gone
your
darker.
Your knee reflex.
That was really funny. Biffed my knee. My reflexes are still.
Hold on.
I've always had amazing reflexes. That was really good, and knocked the whole table down. I don't know. When people say, "How have you changed?" It's difficult to answer that question, because, you know, hopefully you like to think you've changed for the better. Yeah. That you've sort of, I mean, as a singer, I like to think, well, maybe my range has got bigger. As a writer, I'm more mature, you know, I'm learning how to handle things better. But I think that people sort of think that you're, you know, when they say, have you changed, they mean, are you a drug addict, you know, and are you having
It's also an unfair question sometimes, because people just develop. I don't necessarily believe in change. They just develop different sides of
right. I mean, I'm sure I have changed. I mean, I also think people mean by that, you know, do you still talk to your friends and your family? And of course I do all the time. Although they're probably going, slag hasn't run me in weeks, which I haven't. I'm sorry, I've been busy, but, you know, there are things like that that you have to...
Sometimes, though, I mean, it's a lonely... Yours can be a lonely business. After all, there aren't 28 Julia Fordhams on stage or on an album cover. There's just one. Do you feel that loneliness sometimes?
I do, actually. It's a very good question, because I think that it is different to being in a band. I mean, it's wonderful at the moment doing this Michael Bolton thing, because I've got a band again, and I really like that sort of camaraderie and sort of playing silly games after the gig. And a lot of the time when you're just like a solo artist, you really are so much on your own. I mean, you like maybe travel with someone, but you sort of do many things like meeting people and getting on the plane or whatever, and sort of hanging out on your own.
It's interesting that, because there are things that you can't communicate to the people you're with. For instance, just before you go on stage, people will wish you luck. I mean, they do, and they say good luck.
Right.
But you know in your heart of hearts that only you can know the experiences you're going through.
Exactly, exactly. But I think that I think I did have problems with that at the beginning. Sort of like, suddenly you come from like being totally unknown to sort of having everything you've wanted in a way, and I feel I mean, I have had everything I wanted, because I've been able to be involved in the production of my records, how the sleeves look, so I've had that sort of control, but you're also exposing yourself constantly.
There's one fear, and I wonder if you still suffer it. Do you remember maybe your very first big date on stage? Did you have that terrible fear? I wonder what I'm going to be like.
Oh, just a bit.
I mean, you get that all the... No, but you know what I'm saying?
I still have that now, you know, like 3.5 years later.
Yeah.
I think that I have definitely... I toured a lot in America and Japan. I'm doing terribly well in Japan. And I think that that's really helped me, because I sort of found that you stop having to prove yourself, because suddenly when people come on, you just walk on, they go, "We love you." It's actually a lot easier than, "Oh, hello, I'm a newcomer."
I mean, that's a good thing. Now people going to Julia Fordham concerts, you know they like you. So now you can relax.
So now you can sort of relax a bit.
You can't relax forever.
Because
the profound test of morning breakfast television is to sing live.
And am I relaxed? No.
Hold on, let's just check. Hold on. Yeah, you're still...
That actually hurt, Mike.
Oh, it did it?
Yeah, I just biffed my chest.
Well, you've got Dr. Hilary Jones.
Yes, Doctor, can you help me?
I think that's sexual harassment.
Yeah, just call me Judge Thomas. We'll hear you sing very shortly.
Thank you.